Hey folks, welcome back to Failure Retirement. So today we're over on the hay farm, and if you notice, I'm not saying old Failure's hay farm, and that's because Failure went ahead and did the right thing and turned it over to his boy. This is part of Failure's plan to be better at retirement. So turn this over to the boy, but I still want to show you what's going on over here. Um, because we no-till this, and in this part of California, the way that we're doing this is just very different. Not a lot of folks doing it, and I don't know. Well, this field is only this is about the third crop, I think, since we disced it. We had to disc this field for gopher control. I haven't walked the other field yet, but the other field hasn't been disced in I think about 7 years, maybe 8, probably 7. Anyway, let me turn the camera around here and give you a better look at what's happening. But you can see behind me we got some green. It's starting to green up. Kind of getting a slow start here in this part of California. It's been a pretty dry fall, but we got another gorgeous California day, um, 65 degrees or something. Honestly, for you folks that wonder why we're in California, there you go. Let me turn the camera. So here we go. I don't know, maybe a little hard to see, but you can see the stubble is still there. In fact, if you're high enough up looking across there, it doesn't even look green yet. That stubble over the winter will go away. It'll get wet, the winds will blow it, it'll rot down, it'll go away. You won't see it in the hay. And that stubble will end up just composting like on the surface and not tying up the nitrogen during the composition process in the soil. So that's part of the game here. And it looks pretty good. We've had such a dry fall. It has gotten a slow start. The stand is a little spotty, but I can see there's some of it that's still coming up, still awfully small. Right in here, I think we got some little bitty guys right there, kind of in the middle. Um, Normally, this time of year, it should be probably 3 inches higher than that. But we just didn't have a significant rain or significant moisture in the soil. We've had a couple little small rains, but pretty spaced out. So we didn't have great soil moisture until just here recently. Let me move around so you can see the stand is a little spotty. So again, there's a lot of small ones still starting here, but this is a thinner spot. It kind of looks like, honestly, that the stand is better where there's more stubble, more cover on the dirt. I'm thinking that's because it was a dry fall. See right over here. Here's a kind of a bad spot right here. Not much going on right there. But if you look close, there's some little guys in there starting out. So maybe it'll turn out here. But honestly, this is a pretty small spot. And this is kind of how it was last year, a little spotty. But we're still getting going here. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. I talked about this in the previous video right before we cut the hay last fall. And so I wanted to show you what the other end of the process looks like at planting time. So I think I said it's December 22nd today. And normally this should have looked like this a month ago, honestly. But it really hasn't started to turn green here until the last week or so. 2 weeks tops. So what we do here, go watch the previous video, the first one on Old Failure's hay farm if you haven't seen it already. All we do, we disc a fire break. The landlady is nervous about fires, and rightfully so. So we disc a fire break at the end of the season. And this is one of the things, is it's hard to tell before you cut where the fire break was and it was disced and where the no-till starts. We'll walk over toward the fire break here, take a look at that. But all we do after the hay's off is we disc that fire break early June or so. Sometimes we didn't do it this year, but sometimes we'll come back in the fall, like in October after a rain, and I'll disc that fire break again. It depends on how cloddy it is. If it's cloddy and rough, the guy will disc it again. But this year it come out pretty smooth. So here we're right to the edge of the fire break. You can kind of see where I disced. And a guy likes to have that pretty smooth for running the bale wagon on, obviously. That's your go-to spot if the field's rough. So again, if anything, there's not a lot happening right here. Further down, it's greener. But right here in this particular spot, right now, today, the stand is better out here in the no-till ground. Look at this right here. And some of that's not, we planted ryegrass. Some of the taller stuff is most likely wild oats. But you just move over a few feet, not much green, a little more over here, and then come back to the no-till. It's in this particular spot overall a little greener, still kind of spotty. Wild oats, last year for the first time, the wild oats were really taking this over. We plant ryegrass. The wild oats were just about ready to choke the ryegrass out. So last year we did get an early rain, not as early as I would have liked. Got a good sprout going. We hit the whole thing with Roundup, and that killed off a lot of the wild oats. Problem is, there was no money to be made in hay this year, so we probably would have been a good thing to hit that with Roundup again before we planted. But this year, between the dry fall and the lack of money from the hay, is not a good year to do that. So this is Failure's son's first year. Well, he's farmed some other little pieces on his own. This is the biggest by far he's ever done on his own. Looks about the same as if Failure did it, honestly. So far so good. A lot of tough choices to be made, and he started finding that out right away. But anyway, looks pretty good. So if you guys have any questions about California hay farming, why a guy is no-till when nobody else is, hardly, few people are, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Sorry, squirrel. Like, I don't think I mentioned, we just fly the seed on. It's hard to broadcast ryegrass. It is so light it doesn't fly well. So we broadcast it with the airplane, fly it on. That spreads it nice and even, theoretically. And it's more expensive, but that's kind of canceled out by the lack of diesel you're burning planting it the old-fashioned way. Anyway, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Ask any questions you might have. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Failure Retirement. Have a good day.